Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request for Travis. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App and a Patreon. People have asked about that, and links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. Really appreciate people who sent them. It could be for pretty much any type of video. Commentary, review, re-review, video game playthrough, random topic, movie news, whatever the case, we'll do it. But Travis wanted me to look at an Incredible Hulk episode, which is a two-parter from 1981, so I think that's around season 4 or so of the show. Try to do two things at once. Try to speak too fast. But the first, which is, I thought, pretty interesting two-parter where it deals with another Hulk, which I thought was intriguing. Because I've seen, by this point now, a few episodes of The Incredible Hulk, and so far I do like the TV show. As I said before, it's getting used to the fact that it is a TV show because of the period, at the time period, what they had in terms of production value and effects, that they're not going to have, super villains, all that type of stuff. You're getting, I realize what you're dealing with in the show. And while you don't have these big action set pieces like maybe you would in a show today, you do have a decent amount of heart. I think Bill Bixby is a big part of that as David Bruce Banner. Which, again, from what I understand, the guy running the show did not like the word Bruce because he thought it sounded gay. That's his words, not mine. That's why he's called David Bruce Banner. But Bill Bixby is definitely the heart of the show. Each time he gives a bang-up. I have not seen him do a bad job so far as Banner. He's always serious. And just heart is worn on his sleeve. And you feel what he feels. You feel bad when things don't work out his way. And of course, because it's a TV show, it can't work out his way or there'd be no show anymore. But like the setup of this is, we see these 5 teenagers. It's a stormy night. They have to stop because of the storm. They go into this house. They're not sure about this house. They think it was a pretty spooky house. They go in. I thought it was kind of weak that one of the first things we see when they go in is a cat jump scare, where when it jumps into someone's arms. I'm like, really, you gotta do the cat jump scare? Like one of the more cliche things. So they look around. One team goes up. He sees something. We don't see it. He screams. Then we cut some time, which this was a bit confusing because I didn't know how much time it was. They eventually said later, which is like a year. It's been like a year. But maybe it said that earlier, but I guess for me it just didn't track until later when they finally said, oh, it's been 1 year. So Banner was investigating this guy, Dr. Clive, who worked with gamma radiation. Found out about this story from a while ago about this monster, which someone took a clear picture of, so I don't know if that guy who took the picture survived or not. And then that creature disappeared. So then there's this idea that Bill Bixby's character has is, well, I mean, either he got killed or even just a notion after talking with a few people, like talks with the widow. There's possible research notes that there might have been a cure. And after talking to the widow about how there's this thing and that there might have been to fix it. So Banner's like, oh, maybe there's a cure. And so he talks to his assistant named Dell, a guy who works at the property. And then you kind of find out at the end that he was the Hulk in question. That the Dr. Clive was worked with Gamma, Dell had this affliction where he was hurting, he was dying, and he had nothing to lose. So he did this experiment hoping to heal him, which it did, but then when he got angry, he turned to the Hulk. But he was cured. And so I like the setup. I like the setup of that there was another Hulk. So it gives a bit of intrigue to what could happen next. You have something very important for a possible reward, a cure, evidence that someone's been cured of this, so it's not just false hope. I didn't mind the actor who played Dell. I thought he did a good job. It was cool to see the sheriff as Billy Green Bush. I swear, well, I guess that's not true. I was going to say anytime I see him he's a sheriff, but no. The first time I saw him was actually the dad in Critters. He was the dad in Critters. He was also one of the cops in Jason Goes to Hell. I don't know if he's still around. I'm trying to remember if he did interviews for the Critters documentary. He might have. I don't know. That's one I would like to rewatch again. I don't know if it's on YouTube or anything. I'll have to look into that, but you know what? It's going to bother me if I don't, so I'll just look now to see. Sorry, I know this is off tangent, but well, they probably wouldn't be on YouTube. What I'm talking about, it probably wouldn't be on YouTube. Anyway, I just have to look up my Blu-rays. Yeah, I can't remember if he was interviewed. Anyway, I don't want to go off tangent, but they said I don't know. He didn't really do a whole lot. It seemed after I can't like those only roles I could think of is those two and this one now. But I've always liked him as an actor. Never minded him. I like that the sheriff, he's not a complete one-note bad guy. Like, he does visit him when Bixby's looking around, but he goes, listen, I can't force you out. You didn't break any laws. Just, a word of warning that there may be some people who don't like that you're here. So he's being a somewhat reasonable sheriff. Like, he's doing the best that he can. So I like that he wasn't just a one-note mustache twirling villain. I do appreciate that. Now you do get one Hulk out in the first part where these guys don't want Bixby there. They throw him around. They throw him down this well. He gets pissed. He turns to Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk. Throws one into a building, which is a nice stunt from the guy. Throws a big sack, which hits a guy. So there's not a whole lot. That's the thing with the Hulk is that he can't really do a whole lot of punching because you'd be thinking, well, don't break his neck or punch his head off. So it's a lot of throws, or he throws something like a sack, he'll hit someone, or maybe he'll throw some. I mean, there's only so much. Maybe he'll pick something up and hit someone. Because of that, he's going to be sadly limited to what he can do. Because of course you don't want him to kill someone. So you gotta make him hit someone, but not make them think like, oh well, he killed that motherfucker. And because it's just it is a guy like Lou Ferrigno, he can't be doing all the crazy superhero superpower stuff like you would see in later movies with a lot of special effects. So some newer people may see this and think it was antiquated, but I think it was definitely worked for its time in the 70s and early 80s. And Lou Ferrigno is such a big, imposing figure that he's a great visual for the Hulk. And the voice, which again, I believe is Charles Napier doing the Growl's voice of the Hulk. Charles Napier, of course, Rambo First Blood Part 2. You're Murdoch. I'm coming to get you. And he's Murdoch. So it's always cool, like, oh wow, it's Charles Napier doing the voice of the Growls of the Hulk. I always thought that was cool once I found that out. And so it's always nice to see Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk in this. One thing leads to another. And you find out that the assistant, he accidentally spills the beans that he killed that kid a year ago. Bitsby tries to stop him, but he wants to turn again. Built this thing with the help of Banner, helped a lot of it, in fixing it. He's able to turn. And it's kind of cool to see Bill Bixby see someone else turn to the Hulk, so now he knows himself what that looks like. I mean, granted, you say you had those great episodes where he was like in dreams facing the Hulk, trying to trap the Hulk, so in that way you could visualize the Hulk. And that was actually cool because you got to see Bill Bixby in the same frame as Lou Ferrigno, so that was neat. But I will say I don't like the look of this other Hulk. I thought it looked really goofy. I think that was one of the weakest parts of it, is that he looked really silly. Because he's a much scrawnier Hulk. I understand not everybody looks like Lou Ferrigno, but you think you get get a bigger, like massive guy. Get like I don't know, a wrestler. Like a, that's why I'm surprised they didn't get like a wrestler or like a taller, like bigger, like, get like maybe a taller, either get a taller guy, much taller guy, or get a guy as big, another bodybuilder, or again a wrestler. It just looked like a scrawny guy that you would see, I don't know, pumping at the gas station with this really big hair, like a white guy afro. He just looked really goofy to me. Just, I just did not like the look they gave him. And then that's where we get into part 2, where it escaped, is running through the woods, and I swear it looks over and we see stock footage of deer. Now he throws something and something lands by a real deer, but it's funny that he looks over and you see, like, you can tell the film quality is different, so it's stock footage deer. And then fairly quickly he turns back. Banner finds him, and he warns Banner, leave me the hell alone. Mr. McGee, the reporter, arrives in this. Of course, like the usual, he talks with people. They give him very little answers. The sheriff, in this case Billy Greenbush, warns him. And this Dell character, he loves to start trouble because he's a guy with an inferiority complex. He feels like people messed with him, picked on him. He never got respect. So now, like, if someone gives him a little bit of crap, he'll really fuel the fire. Like, they're at this general store and he's kind of fueling the fire, pouring beer on people that they made fun of him a little bit. Hey, come on and hit me. Oh, you hit me? That's not a punch. Come on, hit me harder. So when he does, the guy flies back, and when he comes out, he hulked out. Now, he just threw a guy through a window, but I guess he threw the guy through the window so hard the guy died. Which is funny because the Hulk would throw people and almost like the same type, but I guess, he's the villain, so he killed someone. While Mr. McGee hears about this, is with Billy Greenbush, or as some people tell him about who this guy Dell is. Banner, in the meantime, is talking with the widow, tells her a bit of what's going on. I thought the actress that plays the widow of Dr. Clive, I thought she did a good job. She was likable enough. Felt sorry for her. Losing her love and all that stuff. Dell is in love with that widow, so Banner says, "Can you get him, like, near here?" And she even says, "Well, why don't you take the tier yourself? You said you got stuff for a tier." And of course, this is how heartfelt of a character Banner is. He says, "Yeah, I do, but if I take this, I'm out for 48 hours. I can't risk what he's going to do in those 48 hours. Because one person already died." So again, he's a guy that puts other people in front of him. And he can't. Now, granted, what the woman could have said was, "Well, let me talk with him for 2 days." He said 2 days, 3 days. He'll stay here and he'll relax and do all this other stuff, and we'll go for parts, and I'll say I'm not ready yet, and just give me a week, and we'll just have dinner and candlelight dinner and watch TV for 2 days while you sleep it off, and then we come back, boop, cure him, and that's it. I mean, she could have said that. Damn her. She didn't think about that. I'm like, why didn't you say? Then he could have been cured, and he would have been cured or shot, because that's what happens. He ultimately does get shot by the cop, and then there'd be no more show. There'd be no TV show if it went that route. So instead, Banner takes protection of the people above his own. It's what makes him a hero. They form this plan to get the guy there. They try to cure him. He gets pissed. Hulk is protecting. Banner hulks out as well. I kind of like the one Hulk is pushing Lou Ferrigno around, but then Lou gets pissed and is pushing him around. Pretty much them pushing back and forth into instruments, crashing through as much as you can in the smaller room. Now, Sally, it's not this big battle where like they're hitting things like baseball bats and they're flying around through walls. It's pretty much all in this room, kind of being pushed back and forth. Whereas where they're both have this thing and they both crush this thing that they're playing tug of war with. So yeah, there's a part of me that wishes it could have been a bigger fight. But again, it's the constraints of a TV show. They can only do what they can do at this point in 1981. Mr. McD and the sheriff comes in. They see that that guy's an asshole. They shoot him as they should. I do like the woman protects the Hulk and says, hey, he didn't do anything. Okay, he hasn't hurt anybody. And then the Hulk runs off and she gives them hazy answers, and she even says to Mr. McD, why don't you leave him alone? And he says, I can't. And then and you just really feel bad. Like when the villain throws and destroys the cure, you do really hear the anguish in Banner's eyes. And that's really what halts him out at the end. It's just this frustration, like the cure is right there. And again, just him being so frustrated and so angry and so... it's heart-wrenching. Even more so that, from what I understand, when they did the last episode, or last like TV movie, it ended with him dying. Because I guess they were going to do maybe another TV movie, but then that never happened, so the Hulk never got his ending, so that kind of sucks. Was it the death? The death of the Incredible... because there's the Incredible Hulk Returns with him and Thor. I remember having fun with that one. There's the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which I think had Daredevil. And then you had the Death of Hulk, where... I don't know why the hell they ended it that way. Like... because they... well, they gotta give us another one, because they can't allow us to end it that way. They gotta give us another one. No, they don't, because they didn't give you another one. It's like that Elf TV show. Well, the idea was another season. They can't expect us to end it with, the cops, the alien task force did an Elf. Yeah, they can, because you're canceled. But then they did that TV movie and said, yeah, he's alive, and this is where he's at, the alien task force, and he got out. So at least there was a TV movie. Unlike Hulk with Bill Bixby, he didn't get his ending. So it's, too bad. But this I liked. Yes, I would like to see a bit more action. I wish the finale had a bit more choreography to the fight. I do wish that the look of the evil Hulk was a bit different and less goofy looking, with like the crazy hair, and again, it's a pretty scrawny looking guy. Just either have a guy that's really tall or jacked up as well, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, to be fair, the guy is taller than Lou Ferrigno, but Lou Ferrigno's fairly short of a guy. But it still didn't seem that impressive or that much of a threat to Lou Ferrigno. I don't know, just his body build, his look, just I think that could have been a bit better. But again, I liked the actors, the Billy Greenbush, the guy who plays Dell. I like the idea. I didn't mind the story of the two episodes. And Bill Bixby does a great job as always. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye for now.